this month. I don't know the date. I don't know, Carrie, if you remember. I think it was the 10th. And I could find it out. It's on my calendar. But the Peace Center grew out of a Gang Peace Summit that was held here in San Antonio, and the first gathering of people to plan that was in January of 1994. And this young writer, we can say that, right? Young writer from the Express News showed up, and I knew that I had a brother for life. And many of us have read his profound words throughout these years. And so Carrie Plack is actually here to introduce our laureate. He's a dear friend and supporter of the Peace Center, and I fully expect that one day he will receive this award as well for his work that he's done in the world. So Carrie, if you would do us the honor.
Thank you, my sister Ann. I was thinking the same thing about, usually pretty good with dates, but I'm not that exact. I do know that it was about 21 years ago. And it actually preceded me with the Express News, but I ended up doing a freelance piece on the Gang Peace Summit after it happened. And I'm privileged to call you a friend. And many of you, I don't know who are my friends, and just the wonderful work that the Peace Center does. And I'm honored, and it's more than an honor. This is out of gratitude that I do this, that I was asked to introduce this another incredible woman who I'm proud to know and consider a friend, and someone who is an inspiration. In the 19th and 20th verses of Genesis 37, the brothers of the dreamer Joseph conspired to kill him. To one another they say, "Behold, the dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say some evil beast has devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams." Throughout history, such has often been the fate of dreamers and peacemakers, who are often one and the same. To be set upon by the beasts of hatred and oppressive social orders, to be devoured by death, persecution, jailings, beatings, economic hardships, and accusations of being militant, radical, traitors. But history has also shown that no pit can contain the will of a people longing to live lives that are free and just. What becomes of the dreams of peace and nonviolence is that they endure. The dream of peace wasn't crucified with Christ on the cross. It wasn't incarcerated with Thoreau in prison. It wasn't assassinated with Gandhi amidst a crowd on the road. It didn't die with a king on a balcony. In his keynote to the 2012 Democratic National Convention, in words that he was aided in crafting by his brother Joaquin, Julian Castro said, "In the end, the American dream is not a sprint or even a marathon. It's a relay. Our families don't always cross the finish line in the span of one generation, but each generation passes on to the next the fruits of their labors." Our 2015 San Antonio Peace Laureate has run her leg of this relay tirelessly and courageously. As a community activist, political organizer, and educator, she has challenged our nation to live up to its ideals and to do better by all of its children. I won't read her resume, recite an accounting of each year of her life, the schools she attended, the places she worked, the organization she's led and has been a part of. We're here because we know what she has done. We know her by her works. We are all the beneficiaries of the fruits of her labor. But let's make one thing clear. Had Rosie Castro not been blessed with two remarkable sons, we would still gather to bless her for the summation of her remarkable work as a peacemaker. Across the nation, everyone may know her as the mother of Julian and Joaquin Castro. In San Antonio, we know that Julian and Joaquin Castro are the sons of Rosie Castro. So she isn't being honored because of who, through great labor, she brought into this world. She's being honored for what, through great labor, she sought to bring to this world. She's been honored for being visionary. Her commitment to this nation's ideals did not begin on September 16, 1974. Some of y'all know that. Whole city ought to know that date right now. We honor her because of all that she's done. We see how she is today. We know that she is in a great position of her life. She has her children. She has her three grandchildren. She's retired. She's living a great life. But let's not remember that which we don't see. That life which leads her to this moment. The hard work, the ostracism, being jailed, having her name in the paper the day after she had been jailed. Not getting jobs. No one coming out and saying this is not why we're not going to hire you, but knowing why she wasn't hired. The economic hardships. The stripes of sacrifice that we don't necessarily see. Langston Hughes in his poem, Mother to Child, talked about life ain't been no crystal stick. So we see her where she is today, but let's remember that for Rosie Castro, daughter of Victoria, life has been no crystal stick. Behold the dreamer, the peacemaker cometh. Come now, therefore. And let us honor her and see what becomes of her dreams. Please welcome me in introducing the San Antonio 2015 Peace Laureate of the Year, Rosie Castro.
But just a small story that what I remember always sticks in my mind about Carrie too is a column he wrote many years ago about a young girl who was shot in a drive-by shooting. She was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. I never passed through that place without remembering that story and praying that she is doing well. I always remember that every year you would kind of update us on how she was. And she always stuck in my mind because of what you wrote. And the idea that all of us had to do something with our lives, with what we were given, to try to make sure that young girls like her would never have to experience that again. I want to thank the Peace Center and also congratulate all the folks who have become the Peace Laureate for the year. I hope that I can do you justice. I'm not going to speak very long because I've had a week of upper respiratory and I may break out in a cough any minute now. But I do want to in San Antonio. I was reminded of that today because, as you know, the Express News did 150 years of being in existence. So they've done a lot of history. And in our history in San Antonio, things were rough. And so many of us that were young, when we were part of Racinita Party, we wanted to ensure that things would be fair for all people, especially for our children. We had some kind of crazy dream that somehow we could bring equality and justice and opportunities and peace and joy to our communities so that our children, like these beautiful children that are here today, would never have to feel the sting of racism, of intolerance. It was a dream. We all know that as much as we work, every generation continues to do battle with that, whether it's forms of racism, forms of violence, or whatever it may be. But I've been very proud to see that my legacies, my sons, adopted a way of living that is respectful and cares for all individuals, regardless of color or religion or anything, any factor at all. I've been proud of the fact that they could do so much better than I, that they could try in their own ways, not in my ways, but in their own ways, to craft policies and bring ideas to wherever they worked that would make people's lives better. I think they continue to do that. They take public service as something that is sacred, not profane, but as something that needs to be lived up to, that is a gift that is given to individuals, and that what is expected from those individuals is that they, in turn, do the very best they can to create a better life for everyone. Both Joaquin and Julian, I think, have tried that. Today, as I listen to the beautiful music, thank you so much. I've never heard you play and sing before. It was so calming and peaceful. The thing that occurred to me right away as you sang the first song was that elected officials should hear you. And I say that because, you know, there's the voice of the male and the female, the perfect harmony, the calm and the peacefulness, and the beauty of that music that makes us all reflect about so many things in our lives. I'm sure you are just like me. You're on the go. You've got to feed kids, you've got to work, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And it's hard to take the time to reflect on the beauty of life and the peacefulness that we seek but often do not find. I really do think we ought to invite a lot of elected officials so maybe they can also contemplate, and I'm sure many of them do through their religion, they can contemplate what peace means and find better solutions for the world than to fight and to have wars and to look at things that are destructive and to pour money into instruments of destruction. I want to thank you very much. It's been a beautiful please know, I was hoping Joaquin would be here. Julian obviously cannot be here, he's in DC. But please know that if there's anything I can do for the center, anything I can do at all, I know that I and my